Hello, this is Anthony Lopez, and this is my sales call demonstration video. I will be doing handling objections, indirect denial, and an alternative product. So here we go. Good morning, Mr. Small. How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Very good, very good. So I see from our previous phone conversation you were interested in purchasing a micro irrigation system for your farm. And after viewing your request and your soil type and kind of your acreage, I believe that this is probably the best system that you could be using. Our soil samples have come back, and we determined that using overhead sprinkler irrigation, it just wouldn't be as efficient or as useful as using something along the lines of micro irrigation. What kind of crops were you planning on growing?
I was thinking about growing a little bit of sweet corn and peanuts.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you see, our micro irrigation systems will certainly be capable of handling the needs for both of these crops. Let me give you a little background into this system.
Please do.
We've probably heard, these terms of drip, spray, trickle. These all refer to the micro irrigation system line. So typically during irrigation cycles, a micro irrigation system will maintain the moisture content in the root zone. So the plant always has just enough available water for it to keep growing. Now, this is especially important in humid regions such as Florida during the dry seasons, when you don't have a lot of rainfall,
right,
and moisture gets whipped away, and you constantly need to have just enough for that plant to use. And this has been shown to significantly improve crop yields.
Really?
So along your irrigation laterals will have these emitters, and through this you can apply pesticides, fertilizers, and water to the crops as needed. Now, considering that you want to try and grow sweet corn and peanuts, these are typically what we call row crops. So we can have our main laterals serve as emitters as well. So essentially what we'll punch into our PVC pipe will just be holes, and then you put this just under the surface, and then you kind of regulate it and see how much water you need to be applying at a certain time. Now, is this some kind of system you'd be interested in purchasing?
Mr. Lopez, I don't know. All what you're telling me seems good, but these micro irrigation systems seem a little bit too high maintenance for me.
That is a very, very good point. Typically, as you've probably heard, in these irrigation systems, because it is micro irrigation, you have very small emitters. So, without proper maintenance, you have sand, silt, and other junk build up. It'll, block these emitters and essentially, render your irrigation system useless. But, I believe that since these are row crops and we can use the laterals as emitters as well, we should be able to have larger emitters without sacrificing water application efficiency. If I, answer your objection.
You're giving me some great answers here. I just still don't know if the micro irrigation system is going to be right for me. The costs are astronomical.
That is another very good point. Well, it is possible for us to look at an alternative product that I believe will suit your needs just as well, and that is the sub-irrigation system. Now, I figured this probably sounds a whole lot similar to micro irrigation systems, but they work a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So they both deal with kind of the water available to the plant and the root zone. The difference between a sub-irrigation system and our micro irrigation system is that the sub-irrigation system will literally raise the water table up to the root zone.
All right.
Whereas, during your micro irrigation systems, you were just watering the root zone. Now, the advantage of this, it's cheap. You're going to be digging furrows.
That's what I want to hear.
Out in the field. and you're going to be just applying water enough until you get up to that root zone, and the crop's going to be going. Obviously, the downside is it is very inefficient. You're going to have to, be, pumping a lot of water. But typically, if you do it right, you're only going to be sacrificing 15 to 20% water application efficiency. So, if a high capital cost is something you're not ready to go right for and invest in, sub-irrigation is definitely the way to go. Do you think this is something you'd be interested in?
Mr. Lopez, you're finally talking my language. Let's do it.
Excellent. Sounds good.
All right.